Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Yayla One back with my first interview, my first time conducting an interview, rather. And the person I'm talking to, this is his first time giving an interview. I'm gonna be talking to Mr. Cooley of Midnight Mind Kennels, and we just gonna talk, and he's gonna just give us his story on the dogs and how he got started, and we just gonna go from there. What's going on, Mr. Cooley?
Oh, not a whole bunch. Just sitting here, chilling.
Chilling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just just tell us, just how you got started in the dogs, and just just go from there. Just rock away.
Yeah, I got started at about 13 years old with a mutt dog. He was a shepherd and Siberian Husky mix. And my mother's friend had a little Chihuahua, and I would sneak them both out behind the house and make them attack each other. And that was how I got started. Then Snowball went on to greater things, and me and my brothers took Snowball and went around behind Dave Adams' house, who lived in the same city that we lived in, and he had a dog named Kingfish. And we would sick our dog on Kingfish, and Kingfish would be at that gate, at that fence rather, just standing there stiff as a board and waiting on us to get up there and let him get that dog. But we teased him, and we would tease him all the time, every day. Not every day, but just about every day we went over there. And then me and some other friends from the same city, Charlie T., who produced Seesaw Honey. We had a Doberman. Charlie had a Doberman. And we would go around the city sicking that Doberman on people's animals. And then we went to sick him on some people's cows.
This is Champ you're talking about, right?
Yeah, the dog is named Champ.
Okay, go ahead.
And Champ, we sicked him on these people's cows. And so the owner of the cows knew who we were. So he came to our church and told our pastor about what we had done. Our pastor was going to punish us, and punishing us, he sent us to Lincoln Heights to a barber shop of a guy that we knew. We didn't know him at first, but the cousin to a guy. And he had some dogs, and he had a dog named Red. And we went there and told him we wanted to do business with him, and he asked us, did we have a dog? We said, yeah. He came outside and looked and saw Champ and started laughing. So he told us, go down the street to my cousin Bobby's house. Bobby got something for you. We went down there. Bobby had a yard filled full of dogs, and he had one that was an Airedale mix. His name was Boomerang. And people from the area where I live in Cincinnati and Hamilton and Fairfield, Lindenwood, Middletown, Dayton, down in Covington, Kentucky, all those areas knew of Boomerang. So,
and he was an Airedale,
Airedale and Pitbull mix.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
So we got them together at a place we called the Euplallium Stadium, and Bobby told us, now your dog might get my dog down, you can't run. I mean, he said, well, when my dog get up and get your dog down, you can't run. Mm-hmm. So we did it, and Champ got Boomerang down right from the start. We got to jumping and yelling and screaming and hollering, telling Champ to kill him. And the next thing you know, Bobby walked over there when Champ started slowing up, looked down on the ground at Boomerang and said, boom, what you doing down there, son? Get up from there. And like a machine, Boomerang got up. He got Champ, got him down. Champ got to yelling and hollering and screaming. And when Champ broke loose, he took off running, and we took off running right behind him, trying to catch him to take him home. That was the last of Champ. Yeah. Never did he bite another dog again. Never.
Really?
And we went from Champ. We went to other dogs. We tried all kind of dogs. We would work through the summer, buy a dog, go back to the Kingfish people, and get beat up again
So these,
until.
but hold on, I mean to cut y'all. These dogs that y'all were buying, that y'all would work to save up for the buying, what type of dogs were they?
Oh, they were all kind of dogs.
Just
English,
dogs.
yeah, English bulldogs, mastiffs, bull terriers, anything that we thought could win.
Okay, so
We
now,
did.
okay, so back to what you were saying, y'all would go and get whooped by the Kingfish people. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, we got whooped by the Kingfish people. Then they start telling us about how to condition a dog. And they had the biggest laugh at us. They say, boys, you got to walk that dog. We go walk a dog for I don't know how long. We'll walk and walk and walk, come back. They beat us again. Then they say, boys, you got to pull that dog. And then we ask them, what do you mean? And they tell us we go do that. But then two guys came along.
Mm-hmm.
They had a dog. They named Mighty. They stole the dog from a guy named Billy Step. We didn't know that they had stole that dog. We didn't know that. We just lived on one street above where they lived, and they came over to our house and said, y'all want to see a dog? And me and my brothers and Charlie T went over there and looked at the dog. They took a pipe, put it in the insulation stuff. They had Mighty to stand still. Now, Mighty's real name was Stinson and Glover's Tuffy, but they had him to stand still.
Okay.
And they beat that dog over his back and shoulders. And then when they got done, they just let Mighty walk around. Mighty went over to the bushes and pissed out some blood and came on back. And them guys gave that dog to us. We got that dog together. We went to Cincinnati again. And Bob Wise had given Bobby Williams a dog named Hercules. Hercules was a bad dog. He was really bad. And nothing was standing up to Hercules. We got in the box. This was the first time I ever stepped in there. I didn't know what to do. Chuck told me what to do. He said, now, undress the dog, boys. We fell out laughing. We didn't know what that meant. We said, our dogs don't wear clothes. And he said, take the collar off the dog.
Right, that's what undress meant.
Yeah, that's what undress meant.
Uh-huh.
He said, now, I'm going to tell you to release the dog, and then you let the dog go. Mighty just stood there like he didn't even see nothing in the box with him. He just stood there. And then Hercules was bucking and jumping. And then Chuck said, release your dog. I let Mighty loose. Bobby let Hercules loose. They met in the middle of the box. Hercules slammed Mighty to the ground. And from then on, it was nothing but Mighty. Just shaking that dog like a rag. And when 15 or 20 minutes went by and that dog was limp and Chuck had us to get him off, Bobby had to pick his dog up. That dog, his head and feet and stuff fell over like a rag. He was done for. And that was the baddest dog we had. Then Chuck talked to Big Wheel Mullins and had him to get the dog from us. And they took it down there and started breeding it to Kingfish dogs and called them Sugar Bear dogs. Every one of them were curs.
Really?
Every one.
But let's back up a minute. So when you said the dog was originally stolen from us,
Billy Step, yeah.
Okay, I've heard of him. Did he ever get the dog back? Or?
No, he didn't get it back.
Okay.
I didn't even know it was his. I didn't know it was his dog at first. I didn't know it was Champion Stinson and Glover's Tuffy until I looked in the Sporting Dog Journal and saw the dog in there. He had won a match at a convention down in Texas, and I knew Billy had just bought a dog out of Texas and brought it up there. And then a few months later, these guys came up with the dog, and they were from Texas. The two guys were from Texas, and they asked us if we wanted him. We took him.
Okay.
And then after I looked through the Sporting Dog Journal some years later and I found that dog, I said, hey, this was mighty. And I read it. I said, them guys stole this dog.
Right.
They didn't get that dog from Billy for free,
right,
or by buying him. So I told my brothers we had a stolen dog named Tuffy. And
so did okay, now you said that he was bred to some kingfish
dogs,
but they didn't produce any good dogs.
No, they didn't produce. I didn't see not one good dog out of all the dogs that came off of Mighty. They said the one thing they said about him, he had staff in him.
Talking about Tuffy?
Yeah, Tuffy had Staffordshire in him. But Tuffy himself, he was a bad, bad dog. Everything that they rode him with, he destroyed. Everything. There was nothing he left.
So now this is all, first of all, let's get this out of the way. This is all like in the 70s, right?
No. He was stolen in the 70s.
Right, so we just, for historical, purposes.
Yeah, it was in the 70s.
Okay. Right. Okay. So that was your first introduction to, I guess.
A good dog.
A good dog, yeah.
Yeah,
a good dog. So let me ask you this. Okay, all this took place in Ohio.
Yep.
Okay, so now, eventually, you spoke about, and we spoke on yesterday, about a dog that you bought from Decatur, Alabama.
Yeah.
Talk about that female.
Ophis.
Yeah, talk about her.
Yeah. Ophis came from Decatur, Alabama. I got her from a guy, his last name was Smith. I can't remember his first name.
Okay.
He lived in Decatur, Alabama. He sold dog food.
Okay.
And I had bought another dog I got out of Texas that was off of Corns Toro. But I needed a female for him, and I heard about this dog named Finley's Bow, and how good those pups were. And I had never, at that time, seen anything off of that. But I heard how good it was, and when I looked in the Sporting Dog Journal, the family did good, so I made contact, and I went down there, drove down there, me and a couple of guys, and we got into Decatur, Alabama, and we couldn't walk the streets. We couldn't hang out nowhere. Smith took us to a hotel to stay in this room. Do not come out for no reason. And we did that. And
now, why you all weren't allowed to, because of racism or something?
Yeah,
okay.
It was a racial thing.
Okay.
And when he came and got us, we went to his house, and he had all these dogs in the yard. Then he had a barn where he had females that they were brew dogs. And him and his friends were laughing and joking and laughing at us and stuff. And he said, if you can get that dog right there, at the time they called her April. April.
Okay.
And they said, if you can get that dog off the chain, you can have her for free. You don't have to pay no money. They thought I was getting ready to get bit. But what they didn't know is I knew how to deal with dogs. So I looked around and I watched her and I watched them and I watched her. And the only time she was acting up is when they were around. So I told them, everybody, all of you are, everybody, get out of sight and don't make a sound. I'll get that dog. And so they did it. I took a rope that I had a clicker on, a snap on to the dog's collar.
Right. Okay, I get it.
And I start making that thing make noise and I let her hear it. And that made, because she'd heard that when they got ready to walk her and stuff, she thought she was going for a walk. So I'm walking closer and closer. Then I snapped it on her collar and unsnapped the other one. I let that rope go out long, and she took off running, and I start walking. She's on a long rope. She didn't know she was being walked by me. And as we walked, I kept pulling her in closer and closer to me, closer and closer, till she got to where she knew that it was just me and her, but she was interested in walking. We walked on up the road and back and up the road and back, and then I petted her and started messing with her. We were friends after that, and they stood there with their mouths hanging open.
So just like that, you got a daughter out Finley's boat.
I got it. That's right.
For free.
For free.
Okay.
And then Reverend Howard Heinzel came down. Mm-hmm. They took her brother, and they did a show with her brother against one of Reverend Heinzel's dog. Man, that dog came. He was making that trailer on that truck rock. He sounded so mean in there, and the trailer couldn't sit still when the doors and things closed. So he told us, Reverend Hines, to get back. He told everybody to get back. This dog is mean. We got back, and they had April's brother there, or Ophis is what I called her. They had her brother there, and they got that big red dog out from Reverend Heinzel, and then they took the collars off, and then the referee said, "Release your dog." That dog, they both hit each other, and when they hit each other, that red dog was like a mad, wild man at first, but then that black dog started coming on. And I think maybe at the 30-minute mark, the black dog was the top dog. He started making that dog act like he was obedience trained. And then I started telling, I said, obedience training, make him act like he's obedient. Walk him around in the park, boy.
And this was Heinzel's dog.
Reverend Heinzel's dog was getting beat like that.
Okay.
That Finley Bow male was beating him.
Was he the belly mate to the female April?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It was April's littermate
brother. Okay.
Yeah, and he walked that dog around he was attached to the side of that dog's head, taking him in circles, and I don't know how long they let it go before they stopped it, but it didn't make it to the hour mark. He was beat. He was beat. He got back in the truck, and the truck didn't rock. It sat still.
So let me ask you this. Now I know you say you had bred her.
I bred Ophis.
April.
Yeah. And I bred her to a dog I had named Debussy.
Okay.
Debussy, it had Carver blood in it, but the way I had to get it was in a roundabout way. It's a lady named Miss Minotti out of Galveston, Texas. I told some people I wanted a puppy that is so mean that not even the mother could nurse it, that the sisters and brothers couldn't be around it. Mrs. Minotti said, I know where there's a pup like that. I said, can you get it for me? She said, yeah. And she told me how much money to send her. I sent her the money. She sent me back a confirmation. And then I had to pick the dog up at the Indianapolis airport. I went down and got the dog, and she was right. He was mean. I had my Maximilian female dog in the house. She was, at the time, my favorite dog.
But hold on, who did this puppy come from?
Off of Robert Korn's Toro, and I can't remember that female. She was a black dog.
Okay.
But on the pedigrees online, it's under Minotti's Blackie.
Okay.
And Blackie is Debussy.
Okay.
And I opened that crate up. He jumped out that crate with his little self, jumped up, attached himself to my Maximilian female's jaw, and was holding on for dear life. I had to hurry up, get him off so she didn't kill him. And I had to raise him up above my head because she was jumping up trying to grab that little puppy. Sit, girl. Jumping up trying to grab that puppy, and I didn't want her to hurt him. So I took her outside, chained her up, and let the puppy run around. And every time he would see another dog, he'd start bouncing like a basketball. I walk him down the street. Some people sicked a Great Dane on me. He was about 7 or 8 months old, but he was a little dog. And this big old Great Dane came, and he was bouncing like a basketball. And I tried to scare it away. It didn't scare. They got together, and those people thought their dog was killing my dog. They heard all that crying and crying, so I looked to see if it was my dog, because I was going to kill the Great Dane. And I saw it wasn't my dog. It was the Great Dane crying. And so the people got excited. And when that Great Dane got loose, my dog had him on the ground, rolled up in a ball. He ran across the street. And that from that point on, he never looked back. The first match I ever let him go in was with a dog that a friend of mine owned from another friend named Charlie Cotherman. In my living room in Anderson, Indiana, Debussy stopped that dog from Charlie Cotherman's dog under 45 minutes. He attached himself to that dog's jaw, and that was all she wrote for that.
So, okay, so now at this point, you got him, you raised him up, you say you had the Maximilian female.
Yeah.
Okay, now, talk to me about about the story, how you wanted to breed the Art.
Oh, I wanted to breed Cobra to Art. I had her, and we were in Ohio.
So this the Maximilian dog.
That's the Maximilian female. Her name is Cobra. She's off of Lacey's Little Dog and Lacey's Red Man, which is off of Maximilian.
Okay, now go ahead.
And so I was in Ohio, and Dave Adams had moved to Trenton, Ohio. Mm-hmm. So I went to Dave Adams' house and asked him, could I breed my dog to his dog, Art? And he said no. I said, all right, no problem. I left. But it was he didn't let me breed. But there were several other guys I asked about breeding, and one of the guys from right around Middletown, Ohio, he had a dog named Champion Freddie. Told me a black man don't need a dog of this quality. Wow. It was a dog named Champion Freddie. I wanted either some blood from Freddie, because it came from a guy I knew named Ralph Greenwood that was real good, or Art. And I couldn't get neither one. So one day, Dave came to my house and wanted to breed to my dog Debussy.
This is a black dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
The black dog from that Miss Monata. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I told Dave, I'm going to give you what you gave me. So Dave said, what is that? No. And then he dropped his head. And I was going to let him breed. I said, well, wait a minute. He dropped his head and said, okay. And then he walked on out sad. But I was going to let him breed. I wasn't going to do like he was. I didn't want to be like that. Mm-hmm. But I told him, I'll give you what you gave me. So I gave him what he gave me. Mm-hmm. No. And I when he walked away and wouldn't turn around, I just let it go.
Yeah.
I just let it go.
Mm. So let me ask, what was the breeding? Was there ever a breeding that you wanted to do that you didn't get to do?
Yeah, I wanted to rebreed my dog Debussy to Ophice, because that breeding made nothing but winners. Every pup in the litter. Mm-hmm. I matched some of them in Indiana. They won. Everywhere they were matched at in Tennessee, they won. So I wanted to redo that breeding.
And this was the dog that come out Finley's Bow.
Yeah. She came off Finley's Bow, bred to Debussy.
Okay.
And they made winners. All of them were fancy movers and hard biters. Debussy bit my dog Black Duster that weighed over 60 pounds, and with one bite, made him pass out cold. and I had already hooked Debussy into a dog that Bobby Williams had named Kong. And somebody saw that happen. A friend of mine named Lawrence Williams went and told Bobby Williams how hard Debussy could bite, and Bobby Williams wouldn't let me go into Kong after that.
And this is the same Bobby Williams that had the Airedale and Boomerang.
Yeah.
From early. Okay.
Yep, that was him.
Okay. So was and a breeding that, was there ever a breeding that you wanted to see someone else do that they didn't get to do?
With my dog?
No, just in like people that you knew. Maybe get in on it.
There was a dog named Bad Billy.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew of another dog. It was a red-nosed dog. I wanted to see Bad Billy bred to.
Mm-hmm.
And I called Smith.
This is a guy in Decatur.
No, it's another guy, Walton and Smith.
Okay.
I called and I asked about breeding to Bad Billy. I don't remember what they told me, but they didn't let their dog breed.
It didn't go down?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
So all this is taking place in Indiana?
No. Bad Billy, and when I called to breed the Bad Billy, I was in California.
Oh, you had moved to California at this time?
Yeah.
Okay, so you left Ohio, now you're in California. At this point, okay. So tell us about your first introduction to Mr. Garcia, schoolboy.
Oh, yeah. There was this guy named Fat Juan, and it was me and a guy named Killer and Crusher. We had a dog named Butch. Butch was off of my dog named Little Girl. Not Little Girl, Little Bit. She was a little bitty red-nosed dog. I think it was it Klaus blood, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And she was so fiery and so hot. And then it was a pug, not a pug, but a Shar-Pei that bred to my dog.
Mm-hmm.
And my friend Killer, his real name was Adam, got Butch, raised Butch up. And my dog had got hit by a car and her hips got broke. And I got some stuff from a friend of mine named Mike Williams called Peak, and I fixed my dog up. So Fat Juan was in this group of guys that Richard Garcia, or Schoolboy, they call him, had a dog he wanted to start. He wanted to roll. So Fat Juan set it up, came over to Adam's house, and we were out there in the backyard. And so before it started, I asked him, well, before we do this, if your dog stopped, you know what to do with him, right? He said, yeah. I said, you're going to do it, right? Yeah, because if our dog had to stop, we were going to put him down. Mm-hmm. That's what you do. And so we went back there, got Butch, let him go. I mean, they didn't even get out of the little square area that we turn them loose in. Butch stopped that dog from Schoolboy. And I saw him stop, and I said, uh-oh. And I think that made him a little bit upset or perturbed. Him seeing a mutt dog stop his purebred dog. Okay. Yeah, that dog disappeared. I know he did something with it. He didn't keep it.
Oh, okay.
And then he had a female he wanted to do.
So this was just like second time.
Yeah, the second time.
But at this point, you say y'all like in a box, like.
No, we were in a garage.
Okay, in a garage.
In the area in that garage, we had one part that was the size of a box.
Okay.
And then at the entrance part, if you block that off, it would be the size of a pit.
Okay.
So we went in there. I took my dog in there. She was bred by Mary Schaefer's. And it was a Bolio and Chinaman female that I had. I don't know how Richard's dog was bred. All I know, it was Red Boy. So we let him go. Neither dog started up. But my dog seemed to be a little more aggressive, but they didn't do nothing. So Garcia said, "Stop. I don't want my dog to get no bad habits. I'm gonna take it back away."
Right. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
That was my introduction to him. But as far as I know, he was a good dog, man, because he produced these guys called